Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Joe from Gadgetry Tech, and today I'm going to talk about the ROCCAT Vulcan II keyboard. This isn't going to be a long review because there are certain things that I've covered in the past, and I'm not going to rely on you watching those to understand this keyboard, but there's been some more common understandings on what gaming keyboards bring you. So what I want to do to keep it more short and concise for you is focus on what makes this keyboard special. Now, this keyboard was sent to me from ROCCAT. It won't impact what I say about the review, but I do want to thank them for doing that. As always, if you find that this is the right keyboard for you, I'll have a generic Amazon affiliate link in the description. It helps support the channel to purchase things that weren't sent from me. However, purchase it anywhere you want. With that being said, let's dive in. Now, the Vulcan II Max comes in at an eye-watering $230. It's available in white or black, and you can get two switch configurations. The red and brown switches both have the same travel distance of 3.6 millimeters and 45 grams of actuation force, but the reds have a 1.4 millimeter actuation distance, whereas the browns are 1.8. The browns are also a little bit more clicky and noisy, not crazy loud like the blues, but it's more noticeable than the reds. Now, as I've seen with the other ROCCAT keyboards, there are a few things that are similar. So the keys are raised, they are very exposed. So if you like RGB, the Max is going to give you the most of that. Unlike the older ROCCAT keyboards, the newer ones, the Vulcan IIs, they're fully compatible with third-party keycaps, which is an important thing because I want to note this is $230, but it's not using PBT caps, it's using ABS. ABS is pretty, it's light, it's quiet, it's allowing more of this RGB look to come through, but PBT caps are more durable. So if you're concerned with long-term wear, after about 6 months to a year of heavy use, expect to start seeing a shine on your buttons. Thankfully, because they have third-party compatibility, you can swap out the keycaps to whatever you want down the road, whether it's a replacement of the same style keycaps or you go custom PBT. So it's something to look into later, but at least you know what you get in the box. Now, unlike the Mini and the TKL versions, this USB cable is not detachable. It is a braided, very heavy cable. It has some memory to it, and I just want to show you how strong this cable is. This wasn't the reason why I brought this out, but you can see I can literally lift the headset with the cable. So it's thick. I say all that because I can let it go and you can see that it's sticking up on my desk. There's some memory to it, so you're going to have to bend it and manipulate the cable to get it to lay more flat on your desk. So the initial couple days, it might look a little out of place, but you can obviously break that in and it will settle down as it did on my desk. Now, let's face it, a huge standout feature to this keyboard is RGB. That's going to catch a lot of people's attention, especially when you see this ridiculously awesome palm rest. Now, this is subjective. Some people aren't going to want this, and that's fine. You can still benefit from other features I'll tell you about, but I do want to show you that this is rubbery. I thought it was a hard plastic, but it's actually soft. Still very easy to clean. There's a little bit of grip to it. It's like a silicone material, so depending on your hands, if they get a little sticky, you might have a little extra grip. Now, that could be good or bad. I did find that the thickness and softness was just right for actually typing on every day. So for my everyday work, it was great. From the competitive side, your mileage may vary. It just kind of depends on how your hands are and what kind of movements you do on the keyboard. Now, continuing on, just if you remove this, it doesn't mean that you're losing out on the RGB benefits that was there. There is a nice little glow, and you can see in the top-down view, I have 16 zones of lighting. I am pleased to say that you can customize every single LED that you see in this keyboard. So all 16 zones can have their own color. So you can make your own gradients, solid colors, your cyberpunk theme, whatever you want to do, you can do that. Now, the Vulcan II Mini was the first keyboard I've ever reviewed that had dual LED key switches. So what I mean by that is you have your RGB, your typical shiny, colorful RGB, but there are some keys on here that have a secondary color. You can see that the little one right there has a blue that will not go away. Of course, the keyboard's blue right now, but as the color scheme changes, that key will always stay blue. Now, if I press function to switch modes, you can see that now I have a secondary LED in red. The top is still following my RGB scheme, but the bottom LED shows red. That dual LED technology is telling me I am in Profile 2, but I can still have the rest of that keycap customized to the color I want. So I'm gonna hold down function and press F3. There's green, there's, Profile 3, and then we have this off green color for Profile 4. I'll go back to 1. Now, you'll notice that the color scheme is changing as well. Each profile can have its own keystroke settings. Each profile can have its own RGB settings. You need to use ROCCAT Swarm software to customize that. However, once it's been customized, you do not need ROCCAT Swarm software to utilize the onboard memory, which is 4 megabytes, to switch through profiles. So if you have different key combinations or macros and stuff saved to the keyboard, Swarm doesn't have to be open and running to benefit from those key switches. So I just want to point that out because to me that's a really cool feature. Now obviously AMO lighting is not going to work without Swarm running. AMO software basically, and this is because my computer locked, AMO software is an interactive lighting scheme which can tie into your mouse, it can tie into your headset. There's some really cool things here, like if I'm adjusting the volume, let me pull this up and enable Swarm. All right, so you can see the volume is changing my RGB. As I go volume up, it's going to the right, and as I go down, the volume's going down. I absolutely love that feature. It's been like that on other ROCCAT keyboards. The older Vulcans did that. Another nice thing about AMO is if you press and hold, you get kind of these interactive key illumination, and it bleeds into the palm rest. So there's like a full extension of lighting. I'm pointing this stuff out because to me, that's what makes this keyboard special. You can talk about the 100 million life cycle keystroke rating. So the switches are reliable. The benefits of the optical switch being fast and again, predictable. You know, you're not getting those double presses when you don't want it. There's a lot of benefits that this and other gaming keyboards give you. The rollover, the simultaneous 10 key without any problems. You press tons of keys at once and it's going to register them all. That's all there with this. But I really want to praise the ingenuity on the whole lighting design in this software because it makes it feel a little bit different. And I want to point out this: CPU, GPU, and RAM. When Swarm is running, these dual LEDs are, this is like the full realization of, I think, what dual LED can start giving you. And right now my CPU, GPU, and RAM utilization is below a threshold that I have set in Swarm. If it's below that threshold, it goes to green. If I hit the middle threshold, I can set that to whatever color I want. And if I am going fully max, let's say in Swarm I'm set to 85% or greater CPU utilization, the CPU light will turn red. Now in Swarm, I can also make that red pulsing. I can make it blink so it can stand out more and tell me, hey, I'm at 100% CPU utilization. Now you can make it so it's always the same color. You can have it set to or disable that functionality if you want. But I love that they're utilizing these dual LED light technology to give you kind of like a real-time readout of some resources. It's not as granular as a screen that's telling you the exact percentage, but it is a very cool way to represent that information. Now you also get these extra key functions across the top. You have, if you press function in F5, you'll open ROCCAT Swarm. You can mute your mic for streaming, answer calls, pull up instant messaging. You have your assignable record button, and then live here. Now these two are specific to ROCCAT. You have F11 and F12. F11 is going to tell you your battery life of your mouse. So if you have a ROCCAT mouse that's compatible with Swarm, you can again have the light set to green if it's full, blinking red if it's almost dead, etc. And you can do the same thing with the headset, such as the new Syn Max Air. So there's a lot of really awesome integration. If you have a lot of ROCCAT products, this really kind of just ties it all together. Now I love the volume knob. You press in the volume knob to mute. You have your forward, back, play, pause button, and you can customize those colors separately as well. This keyboard's been great. I mean, it's pretty, gaming keyboards have come such a long way since the older stuff. There's not so much to fault it on because there's a lot of experience in the past few years. This has their improved, you know, anodized aluminum backplate. It's very quiet, very inert. I'm gonna make sure I'm not typing on my thing, but now these are the red switches, so they're not overly clicky. No reverberations, no metallic pinging sound. It's very, very flat. So some of the older ROCCAT ones used to have a metallic ping to it. It's just the way the backplate was designed. That's not the case with the Max. It's built incredibly well there. Now on the Max, you also have this dual foot flip, if you will. So the little footrest to angle the keyboard. You have your low profile setting, and then I can open up the big one to angle the keyboard more. If it's completely down, you have rubber across the entire bottom and top. That'll give you some really nice grip so it doesn't move on your desk. This has some weight to it. It's over 600 grams, so once those feet are out, it's still not gonna move well. it stays pretty well planted. I never had any issues with it moving around on my desk. So I'm just going to take a brief moment to show you the Swarm software. Basically, on the illumination side, you have your AMO, which is again what synchronizes the ROCCAT electronics with our peripherals with all the other ROCCAT stuff, or even by itself, it gives you those interactive features I was talking about, such as the volume and key presses. And you can customize everything, of course. Now, if you go to fully custom mode, this is where you have control over every single light on the keyboard. So again, you can really make this your own. And there's predefined groupings as well, such as the WASD, arrow keys, etc. And naturally, there's some patterns just like before on the other ROCCAT keyboards where you have the snake, you have the pulsing and blinking. I typically leave AMO on because I'm almost always using at least 2 ROCCAT products. I have the ROCCAT mice, I use the Cone XP Air, and now likely the Vulcan Max. I'll get into that in just a moment. But I like when it's all tied in and has a similar theme to it. Now I'm just going to quickly show you key customization because this is a much more time-consuming process, but you'll get the idea very quickly. If I go to Smart Key Functions, these are those extra dual LED buttons I was talking about. If you're pressing Function on the keyboard, you can use those extra printed shortcuts on the key itself, and your mouse battery status. It's all hard-coded. It's assigned there. Now you also have Easy Shift just like other ROCCAT products, so if you hold down the Function key and press the Windows button on the keyboard, it will enable game mode, which then turns your caps lock into Easy Shift. And Easy Shift allows you to use secondary commands for all of these other keys to extend the capability of your keyboard. Now these extra commands can include more advanced features such as opening an application or using a macro. Some macros are predefined, they have game profiles in the app, but you can also create your own macros either on the fly by recording your macro, or you can define that in the Swarm software to kind of fine tune it and assign it to each respective profile. Now I did mention the profile list at the bottom you can toggle through. There is a way to get to profile 5 using the shift key, but basically each profile, like I said, can have your own key assignments and functions, and you can associate those profiles with an executable. So if you have Valorant and Apex Legends, they'll have different key assignments and bindings. You can switch profiles for each game and have that profile open automatically once the game is open. So I'll keep it simple. Is this keyboard for everybody? No. At $230, it's a tough pill to swallow. It's also a very large keyboard once you have the palm rest installed, so some of this may come down to your desk space. I reviewed the Mini the other day, or about a week or two ago, and I just loved, even though I typically don't like small keyboards because I like all the extra functions, the Mini freed up so much desk space that I started contemplating everything in life on why I always felt I needed a larger keyboard. It just felt really nice to have that real estate back. However, I plug in a keyboard like this, and I get my dedicated volume knob back. I'm finally seeing the benefit of the dual LEDs. It was more limiting on the Mini because you have less keys to work with, but when it's spread out like this and then you have this cool palm rest, it's just different. Now I wish they had PBT caps because of the durability. This is an expensive keyboard, so yeah, it would have been nice. This cable is very thick, as I mentioned. There are dual USB plugs on there, so you do have to use 2 USB-A's to power this. One of them is handling most of the RGB, whereas the other one is doing the data for your computer in order for a Swarm to detect it. So I don't think it's perfect. I think there's a couple things that could have been better. Like I said, between the materials and you know, pricing is more, it's up to the market. They're gonna buy it or not. It's a noticeable improvement over all the other Vulcan keyboards I've reviewed in the past. I really think the improved backplate is really nice because again, it's pretty inert and quiet. This RGB is very unique, and I really like the dual LED tech. So it's a very interesting keyboard, and if you have a lot of other ROCCAT products, it makes a lot of sense because it ties in everything into something that it kind of extends beyond each individual peripheral. It's kind of like the sum is greater than the parts being separate. So it's a good keyboard. Now, if you have a lot of other products and you're worried about mix and matching, there are still some benefits to this, such as the CPU RAM utilization, the key binds, that gorgeous RGB. So I think it still has merit either way. Anyway, with that being said, thank you so much for watching this review. I hope you learned something new about the Vulcan II Max today. I'm gonna have to make sure I always get that right. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'd love to see you come back for more content. We cover peripherals, headsets, high-end audio, you name it. I have a lot of good stuff. We're gonna be real busy this season. So thank you again so much for the support, and I'll see you next time. Bye.